Hello, 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 and welcome to IVF in Your Pocket, your emotional companion keeping it real. I'm your host, Alexandra Gary Stuck. I'm a therapist in San Francisco, California, passionate about helping people navigate the IVF journey. And I'm here to answer your questions, keeping things simple and offering concrete, clear tips and tools to help navigate along the really intense journey. Thanks so much for being here. One of the reasons I wanted to create IVF in Your Pocket is because it felt like there was a real gap in information about IVF that was clear and concise and brief, and really gave some tools, some ways of thinking about how to cope along the journey, in particular in a form of questions and answers from real people. And so I wanted to take this opportunity to create a podcast that is really short and simple and can kind of make the journey a little less overwhelming, and these kind of snippets that I really hope are helpful for people. So with that being said, we're going to take our first question from M. M is writing in saying that she is not sure when to stop the IVF journey. She's had 10 non-successful egg retrievals, and she's feeling defeated and depressed and low, and she's wondering at what point does she and her partner stop? When do they look at a different route? So this is a great question, Em. Thank you so much for writing in. I think it's one that comes up a lot, particularly when there is so much defeat or things aren't going the way that you were expecting them to go. It can be really nerve-wracking and really exhausting. And this question comes up like, how do I know when to stop or switch gears? So I think there's several different components to think about. I think the first step is it's so important to get a robust team of kind of thought partners along the journey. And this is true, I think, for any person, any couple at any point in the journey. You need a robust team. And you need a team, not just a medical team, but a team of thought partners, people who can think through the journey with you, as it can be so overwhelming. So perhaps that is, could be your RE, it could be your RE and care team, it could be, a therapist, a couples therapist, it could be an acupuncturist or some other supportive person. Someone that you feel good about, who knows something about the path. And it's crucial to feel like you and your medical team are on the same page and that they are an advocate for you. So I think at this point in the journey, it might be worth thinking about, and their partner thinking about what other options are there in terms of a consult, another second opinion with a medical provider. Not sure if you have been with the same medical provider, but even if you have, it's really common in the field to get a second opinion and just a new, fresh set of eyes looking at your IVF journey up until now. The second thing that is really important is getting on the same page with your partner if you have one, because that can create so much confusion and tension and animosity and resentment that it's always good to check in with your partner and see where your partner is at in this process, because it's so much easier to go forward when there's more understanding of what the next steps are and an agreement around that. The third one is that it's really important to reconnect with your motivations And perhaps those motivations during the journey have changed, and it's time to reassess some things in your life. Maybe you have neglected some hobbies in the fight for the positive outcome you're hoping for, and there needs to be a reassessment of how do you bring some of that back. And does that mean maybe you sit a cycle out, maybe you try again in a few months, maybe you take a break and come back. Your motivations are different than when you started. This journey has an impact, and perhaps you're wanting more of a break right now, or you're wanting to look more at a different option for family building, and that's totally okay. I don't think it's as talked about it. When you enter the IVF world, it feels like, well, I entered it, I've spent this much, I've done this much to my body, we've invested this much, that it can be hard to then think about stopping or taking a break or reassessing where you're spending your energy. But I think it's crucial to really reconnect with why you're doing what you're doing, and that may not be the same as it was when you started. Finally, I think it's so important to make sure you're incorporating all those daily supports, monthly supports that get you through. So if you've put a hobby or exercise to the side, it might be time to think about, or hanging out with friends, it might be time to think about reintegrating that into your lifestyle that includes a longer journey to family building than you had anticipated. That is crucial. You don't want to miss out on more than you have to. So, to recap, in terms of thinking through when to stop, we have making sure you have a robust team, a thought partner team. That might include a second opinion from a RE. 2 is making sure you are on the same page as your partner if you have one in this process. 3 is reassessing your motivation for doing what you're doing. Has it changed? Do some things need to be readjusted? And finally, 4 is making sure you have those self-care activities in place, things that give you support, maybe old things that you did pre-IVF, bringing them back and seeing if that's something that helps in terms of clarity or help you feel more balanced. Thanks so much for your question, Em. I hope that's helpful. Well, that concludes our episode for today. Thank you so much for listening. We'd love to hear from you and answer your questions, so please send me your questions via my website at alexandragarystock.com, or you can email me at alexandrapsychotherapy@gmail.com, and I will try to respond to your questions and hopefully include one of them in the next upcoming episodes. Until then, remember, you are not alone.